Good morning, Midnight Coders. It is morning. That sun appears to be a little bit bright on the background there, but whatever. Good morning. I know. I'm here in the morning and it's not midnight, noob. So, I started this project as a recorded video, which ended up being about an hour and a little over an hour long of a video. The idea here is to compare a typical REST application with that of something a little slightly more improved with GraphQL. And so we started building our project, uh, and we've got a blog, a post, comments, likes. We have them all modeled. We have their repositories, and we have a simple sitemap. So the simple sitemap just lets us log in or register an account. That's it. So now where we left off was we had the ability to log into our site, or our blog. And if I remember correctly, no, I do not remember correctly. I don't, I'm trying to remember my password. Sorry. Created my account, now I forgot my password. Alright. So oh, I'm so prepared for this. I've got everything turned off. Yeah, Postgres is turned off. My database is turned. We're off to a great start. So, if you haven't already, make sure you got that full cup of coffee. Apparently I have two accounts. So I'm gonna delete both of those because I do not remember my password. There we go. Oh, was that my password, noob? Thanks for reminding me. Alright, so let me get my big head out of the way here, and let's take a look at the project where we left it off. And y'all can see where it is that I got myself confused just a moment ago. So get rid of my big head, bring up my little head. Oh, is the volume too low? It should be. I thought it was fine. I do have some quiet ambient background music, which is thanks to a gentleman from Discord. Link to him is in the description. But if you're still having issues hearing me, let me know. My volume is turned up to 100%. At least it should be. So my original issue was I didn't have Postgres turned on. It wasn't that I forgot my password. But anyway, I deleted my account. So let's, to answer your question about what we are discussing today, we're kind of exploring GraphQL and what exactly GraphQL is, what it is that why it is slightly better, or why it is better in some cases. So what I'm doing here uh, is we just have a simple, let me bring up a local host. Yeah, this is where we left off last time. Oh yeah, no, we're not here. I did add a header because I was tired of seeing the. I added a header to the top here so that you can see the blog. Um, you can go to blogs, which doesn't exist. We can log in or sign up. The sign up is still the same. The login is still the same. I do need to. All right, I made it not glab A and glab A. That's what that was. Um, Password, something so I can remember. Okay, so create account. Look at that. Now we come back here and we're on the login page. Invalid credentials because apparently I did save my credentials last time. Oh well. Now I'm back here. Not now. And we'll clean this up because this should technically now be a logout button. I just threw the header together real quick. So what I did here, because again, this was originally supposed to be a pre-recorded video, and I started doing some, and then I just figured I would just do it as a live stream. That way I can answer questions from the live audience as we go, in case anybody has any questions. So I took the index page and I made a header. So I made a fragment. So this is the header fragment. Let me get rid of this, make this a little bit better. So this is the header fragment here. I always call it header just for the sake of it. But I stuck it in a timely fragment called header, which has a CSS mapping for class header. However, this is a navigation that sticks this little logo sort of icon on the left-hand side. Yes, for all intents and purposes, this is going to be nothing but Java, a little bit of HTML, a little bit of CSS. I'm going to use minimal JavaScript for this. I'm actually probably going to use HTMX so that I don't need JavaScript as much, even though we'll get into the technicalities of that. Yeah, for all intents and purposes, it's basically a full stack Java app. And it is available on GitHub. The link is in the description, and I will be updating it after here with the latest. Oh, I am checking if I'm logged in, and it should have logout. Great, glad to see that works. I'll figure that out as we come through, because all I did was added this page, and I went into the home, and I just wanted to be able to reuse the fragment on every page. So this is how I reuse that. If you're not from the web development ecosystem and you're just purely a Java developer, like I was for many years, I used to avoid HTML or web development for the longest time because I was never a fan of web development. I didn't like writing HTML. I found it was really big files and sometimes hard to wrap my head around. With Timeleaf, it makes it a little bit easier. I can break my web pages into fragments, and what that allows me to do is basically the same thing as object-oriented programming. I can stick this into an object itself, header.html, boom, and then I can come over here and I can reuse that everywhere. So for example, I could take this and I could slap it in the login page, slap that at the head of the login page. Same thing with the head of the registration page. I don't know why I did that. There we go. Alright, and now if I was to rerun that same app, and we go to the login page, I love that fucking that worked. I forgot the CSS file. So, login would need the CSS, register would need the CSS. And there is a better way to fix that too. I could actually use layouts, and then I could just make a layout file, and then everything sort of flows through it, and it becomes a little bit more object-oriented, but I was trying to keep this basic. But yeah, so now if I was to refresh this page, the header is used on everywhere. The login, the register. It just allows me. I don't know. I like time leaf because I can break things down into fragments and make them reusable pieces like objects in object-oriented programming. So as my love of Java, once I discovered time leaf, I really started to dive a little more into web development with Spring Boot. Because other than that, I used Spring Boot for just making APIs and basically pageless websites, if you will, APIs and things like a simple web app. It was probably about 4 years ago that I discovered this, and yeah, it made things a lot easier. So yeah, I wanted to just run over that because that's what I added, and then for those of you curious, I do have a little bit of an outline for what we're going to do today. So I'm going to go into the blog service. We're going to create a service class for blogs that allows us to create a blog, fetch one by an author, fetch one by an ID, fetch all, and fetch all with paging. Then we're going to come down, create a DTO for it, make out a controller, and run through the sort of same idea for the other aspects of this. We'll be making a couple endpoints and whatnot that is sort of your typical REST API. So if we pop into blog, we're going to be looking. Actually, I guess I should go and make a DTO first. So we'll make a DTO, and this is going to be the blog creation request. Blog creation. The blog creation request, which is, I believe, just having a UUID, because that's what the blog. Is it UUID or long? UUID. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So this was going to have a private UUID of IT. Yeah, we'll go with that. And then it's going to have a blog name. So private string. Jesus. Can I like not type this morning? Do I need more coffee? I think I need more coffee. Alright. And also for saving time, I also did bring in Lombok, so I'm just gonna snag the getter and setter because I don't want to write a whole bunch of overhead. Alright, there's that. So now we can come into the blog and we can make another, we can make a service package and a blog service. So we'll add that, and this is going to be annotated with a service. As well, I'm going to use required args constructor because again, I'm trying to save down a little bit of time. So we're going to have the blog repository here, and Jesus, is that right? Kind of, sort of. Did I have the builder pattern in that? I don't think I did. I don't, but that's not a bad idea. Wrong thing. Okay, no. Okay, well, we're gonna scrap that idea, and we'll just do it the other way. So we're gonna have var blog new blog, and do this. It's gonna be blog dot set id Did I really have a content for a blog? Okay, the post was supposed to have the content, I believe. This was just supposed to have a title. Yeah. Yeah, obviously I didn't think this through. So this was supposed to be just a title. Yes. Okay, so that was just supposed to be a title, and it's supposed to have a list of posts, and the posts have content, and da 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 da. Okay, you're not happy. Cool. So I don't like the yellow squiggles. Okay, so title is going to be the request.getBlog name, and I'm also I have a user service, right? I have auth service. Okay, I'm gonna need a user service because I'll need a way to grab the user based on the user ID. So this is should have thought this through a little better. Okay, so making a new service class. Import everything, and or else I don't want an or else null. I want an or else throw because I want to throw a conniption fit that a user's not found. Cool. I don't have any. Yeah, no, I didn't do that. This is not that advanced. Alright, so we're going to copy this. We're going to come into the blog service. The blog service is going to have a private final user service. And then we're going to have our user, find user by user ID. The user's not going to be null because it's going to throw a conniption fit otherwise. So now I can come in here and I can go away. What was that? So I want to do blog dot set the author to be that of the user, and then we're just going to return the saved blog that we have, and that's how we're going to create a blog. Now, we're also going to want to be able to get a blog by author, as well as by the blog ID, as well as find all blogs. So let's go with the fetch by, so public user fetch user by author. Oh, okay, this is going to take in a user author. Da, 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 da. Oh wait, this is supposed to be a blog. My bad. Fetch blog by author. I don't have that, so we'll create that. And I want this to be an optional. Yeah, I'm taking in the user, and that's the author. Okay, so this is going to handle that for us, so we can just pop back into our service. And this is going to, why are you saying this now? Return a blog, provided, object. What am I doing? Required as a blog and provided as an object. Right, because I made that an optional. So I want this. Dot. Oh. Authored, I guess. I thought or else, yeah, or else throw should have worked there. Um, sure, but why is that not happy? Oh, because I got this as an object. Oh my god. Nobody caught that? Jeez. There. Now my logic works. Okay. So next I want to find a. So we're gonna do another public. If I can type. Public blog. Fetch blog by blog ID. That looks about right. Okay. And then I want to public list blog fetch all blogs. Return this dot find all. And I also want a public list of this, but not by that. I want this to be fetch blogs, or fetch all, I guess, so it's the same thing. All blogs. Pageable. And then there. Okay. So that takes care of all of that. Little bits. Now I want to go in and make a controller. So here we're going to go in, and this is going to be a blog API controller. Oh, I probably should have stuck that in the proper. Whoops. There we go. Okay. And now this bad boy is going to be a REST controller. We are going to have a required args constructor as well as a request mapping, and I like to do this as API v1. I like to keep my version control inside of my mapping. I don't know why, it's just how I learned it 6+ years ago, or 6-ish years ago. So now we're going to have a public final blog service, and we're going to have something that looks like this. Yes, but you're going to be a response entity. Response entity of this. Make sure all my imports are done. And you're going to do that. That. I like that it even set up defaults for me, because that's totally what I wanted. And I wanted them as requests, but this is beautiful. I love it. So this is fetching all. Da 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 da. And this is going to be var blogs is this, and then we're going to return an OK. Seems fair. Next, we are going to do a post mapping. So this is going to be a post mapping to make a new one. Almost. Creating a blog. This is going to have a blog creation request. And this takes in a creation. Although I don't like that it's named this, I'm going to rename that to just request. Apparently I didn't reformat, refactor. Okay, so this is going to create. That's going to create a new blog. This is going to get all blogs. Now I'm also going to want to get all of the blogs by a specific user or by a specific author, if I can struggle with that. So this is going to be another get mapping. This one is going to take in some argument or path, so it's going to be to here, except it's going to have a user ID. I keep saying user when it's an author ID. Technically, it's a user ID. But this one's going to be to the author, and this is going to did I fetch blog by author? Okay. This should be a list. Not a lost, a list. And this guy shouldn't be this. It should technically be a list. To find all by author, go back here and we do find all by author. And this technically comes back to a list or an empty list. Okay, and then this is finding a specific blog. Okay, so the controller, we are looking to this is technically going to come in as a string because it's going to be the user. Will this map it? I wonder if it'll map it. Okay, so this shouldn't be taking this. It should be taking in a UUID for the author ID. And then boom, boom. That is going to be the author, and this is going to be the author ID. That should make that happy. This is going to pass in the ID. Okay, so what I had to do here was just change this up for the UUID so that I could grab this by the author. Now if we pop into our controller, that is happy. And the next thing I want to do is be able to find all of the blog IDs. So I'm going to do one more get mapping. This is going to be blog ID / blog. And here we're going to basically do the same thing. We're going to be looking for a specific blog by the ID, fetching it, and returning it. So that's our API controller for the blogs. Now, time to sip up some coffee, and we're going to recreate those three classes for a comment and for a post. So let's start with the furthest one down. Into post, we are going to need a post creation request. So this one is going to be in the DTO package. It's going to be a post request. Post creation. Yeah, post creation. keyation, apparently. There we go. Fix that up. All right. So now this guy is also going to have getter, setter, just for the sake of speed, and then this is going to have a private UUID, which is going to be the user ID of who's making the post. Then we're going to have another private UUID that is going to be the blog ID, so we know which blog this is for. And then, of course, we are going to have the content of the post. So there's that. Next, we need to make the service class. So this is going to be post service, I guess. Okay. It's going to be a service. This is going to have a required args constructor. It's going to need a repository. Okay, and then we're also going to need the user service. And the blog service, I suppose. You see how this kind of gets big. Alright, so we're going to need a public post to create a post based on the post request, and let's see if IntelliSense can speed this process up. Kind of, almost. So post dot set I don't have a set author? No? Really? So there's a post ID, which is cool. Okay, maybe I need to get a few things here first. So let's start out by grabbing the user. So this is going to be the get the user ID. Okay. And then we're going to have a blog, which is going to be getting the blog ID. Okay. So now I want to set the blog to the blog. Set the user's not in there though. Are we not keeping track of who we aren't? Interesting. This post just okay, well the post belongs to the blog. Okay, that's why. And the blog is this, so that theoretically the author is the user is. So I don't need the user ID in the post, because the one who's creating the post is technically the one who owns the blog. That's right. Okay. God, I didn't think this through when I first made it. All right. So post needs a title and content. So it needs a title and content. So we have the blog there, and then we're going to do post.set title is title, content is content. Okay, and the rest of that gets filled out automatically. Yes, okay, perfect. So back into here, that's going to then create all of that. And this is going to be post repository.savePost. And I don't need the user service. Yes, I do. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't think I do. All right, so this is our create. Now we need our read. So we're going to make some getters here. So this is going to be another cheapers. Another public, we want to be able to get all of the posts. So this is going to be a find all posts for blog. Yes. Which is also going to lead us to creating some methods in here, which is going to be a list of posts, finding by the blog ID. That's great. Next, we want a way to get yeah, that's what I wanted, was be able to get the. Okay, I want to be able to fetch the posts by the fetch a single post by the post ID. So that looks like that was smart enough to do that for me. Fetch post by ID, find by, okay, cool. So next I want to fetch all posts again, but I want to do it. Okay, so this is what I want it to do here. Fetch all of these, and then I want to do the same thing but pageable. So I want to be able to limit. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to take in pageable, so that I can also pass in pageable here, which means I'm going to need to come into here, and need to duplicate this, and we're going to need to add in pageable. Okay. This is the wrong pageable. There we go. Okay. There. So now all that's left to do is create the controller, I believe. We made that. Okay. Yeah. So I got a way to create a post by request, get a post by the blog, get these. I guess technically I could get it by something like that. Fetch all posts from author ID. This is going to be find all by there's no technical way to do that though. Okay, so I think I need to do that, and blog is, oh, blog service, fetch blog by author, that is the blog. Okay, why did it come up as author? This fetches all the blogs by the author. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So why am I not just returning that? Oh, right, because that's getting the blog by that. Okay, so that's the blog, and now I want to find all by blog. There's that, create the method. And this is me finding all of the blogs by the author. It's not technically what I want. That's the same thing there though. That's so I'm not getting a specific blog. So this should be from blog, and this should be a blog ID, which for all intents and purposes this is a list of okay, I'm being stupid here. So grab the single block, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now I can go into my controller that I need to make. I was just being stupid there. Does using autocomplete make us remember less? Yeah, I can see how using autocomplete can lead to remembering less. Generally, when I hit the tab and let it complete, I'll typically read through it quickly to make sure it makes sense, to make sure it's still what I'm expecting. So it's not so much that I'm not remembering, because I am still technically using that little bit of memory. I'm just having it do it for me a little bit faster. It's probably the closest thing I ever do to AI. So this is a controller, and it's going to be the post API controller. And this is going to be another REST controller. Yeah, we'll have request mapping. No, I'm not doing cross origin. I want to have required args constructor though, so that I can come down here and get myself a post service. And that's kind of sort of what I want. I do want to get mapping to not return necessarily this, but to return a response entity that is of a list of posts. Come on, import. Import. Alright, now. There we go. So now I'm going to fetch the. There we go. So if you board one coding, if you kind of see what I'm doing here, it's not so much that I don't remember how to do this, or it's not that I can't do this myself. It's just that honestly, it makes it a little like the tab bit. I find lets me speed up my development without actually jumping into AI. I don't necessarily. It's hard to really tell you. Board coder. I do think that AI is useful, but I don't think it's the thing to lean on. So what I mean by that is, yes, it can speed you up as long as you know what you're doing. So if you absolutely have no idea what you're doing and you're trying to use AI to learn, I don't think it's the greatest way to learn from, because AI tells you what you want to hear. It's also very outdated in its knowledge. So when you try to, like, I have tried to ask it and just as experiments to write code for me, only for me to turn around and tell it that it's using like Java 8 when I specifically asked it to use 25, for example, and it just comes back with like things like, oh, you're right, I this, and then it still gets things wrong. I don't recommend learning from AI. I recommend more learning from, say, validated YouTubers who have solid tutorials on these things. I say validated, I mean not an AI generated YouTube channel that just spits out slop. Um, Once you have a fundamental idea of what you're doing, AI can help you speed things up by writing the code that you've written thousands of times, um, such as boilerplate. Um, it can be useful for you to it can be a useful tool for you as a developer who gets stuck in some debugging hell. And let's say you thought this was an easy debug, and like 3 hours later, a couple cups of coffee later, you're still down this rabbit hole trying to figure it out. Maybe you can ask AI to help you out and point out what may be wrong, because it can scan your project faster than you can, and it can look for things. Um, I don't recommend it for learning when you know nothing. Um, I do recommend it to help you out once you have an idea. So I really hope that helps you in the sense of answering that question. Um, you're very welcome, dude. Honestly, um, I love Java. I've been doing Java personally since 2001. So I've been doing it for a little over 25 years. That's fucking scary. I've been doing it professionally though since 2011. So I've only been professionally writing code for roughly 15 years. Um, and I say that professionally writing code in the sense that that's when I've got my first job as a developer, and that was when I first broke into the industry as an actual developer. It was 2011. Um, Before that, I was doing freelance code here and there, and I didn't consider myself a professional coder or a professional programmer, because I was just doing freelance bits here and there. I didn't actually have a steady job that with a title. So it wasn't until 2011 that I started doing it professionally. So that's kind of where I technically start my record when I tell people, because I before that I pretty much just consider it screwing around because I never had a professional place. Um, so yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. I picked up Spring roughly 6 years ago. It was around 2019, 2020. I forget roughly where, so it was approximately 6 years ago. Um, and I absolutely love it. I started doing this YouTube channel a little over 2 years ago. I got so far with it, did a bunch of stuff, but then I got a busy life and a couple of contracted jobs that just ate up my time. And unfortunately, it was like a year had went by where my YouTube channel just kind of sat collecting dust. Um, and so I've come back to it because I really wanted to start teaching people and educating other people again. Um, and so I um, I started doing recorded videos. I started doing live streams, started doing podcasts, and I've come to realize that I really enjoy live coding. For years and years, I've always been in my Discord, and I would jump into a voice chat and I would live stream my code to anyone that was in my Discord that wanted to jump in with me. And usually I had a small crowd that liked to watch it. So that ultimately led me to wanting to do live code for YouTube, because I realized that I'm doing the exact same thing, but why not do it to a bigger audience? Um, I don't know. I like my pre-recorded videos because I can make specific kind of teaching moments, but I also really enjoy I really enjoy doing live code, um, doing live streams, doing live code. I just enjoy it, because I found that when I write projects like live projects or like production projects, if I do them in recorded videos, I'm so I've got a process, and I might actually stream my process someday. I sit down with pen and paper and I write out kind of what I want, and I scratch it out and do this and that and the other thing, and I structure my ideas on paper first, and then I come over and I have this Obsidian document. I've got quite a few, depends on what I'm doing, social dev, midnight cafe, templates. Like I've got my Spring into Java course, like I do these templates or these things where I write out what it is that I'm looking to do. Like for example, today, like I wrote out this here, I got my description and my title for the video. Um, then I came down and I outlined what I needed to do in the video, which is create all these classes, create a controller that does all of this, yada yada yada. And then honestly, I'm just going to kind of mimic the rest because the others are just things that I need to cover. Um, but I found that when I do recorded videos, I do this, I go through the same process, but then I typically would write out some bits of the code first that feel more complicated, and I wind up then deleting that and then rewriting it for the thing. So it feels to me like if I'm doing a pre-recorded video, it feels more of a process than just doing it live. Um, I am one of those weird developers that gets a sense of peace and calm from writing code. I find it very therapeutic. I find it very. Um, I get into my own world. And I kind of. I don't know. I can't really put a. I'm sure other developers get the same feelings that I do, but I can't really put it to words. It's just a sense of tranquility when I write code myself. Um, yeah. So I feel like a little disturbance in that tranquility when I have to plan it out, write it out, delete it, redo it, potentially screw up the thing, delete it, redo it. And the recorded videos where I do enjoy doing them, I just feel like they're almost more work than my live streams. And I don't know, I like to live code, and this is kind of a bit of a yap, but you're very welcome, Board One Coding, for the doing what I love. You don't really need to thank me for it, dude. I just like the code. I like the code. I like the design. I like doing networks. I like doing architecture. And most of all, I really enjoy teaching people to code. I've taught dozens of people over the years. I mentored quite a few different people. And yeah, I have just been yapping for like 10 minutes. Sorry. All right. So I have a way to get a list of posts from a blog. Next, I want to be able to get a specific post. I like that this is doing that for me. So let's see here. Okay, so this is a response entity of a single post. Fetch post by ID. I'm taking in the UUID. I'm reaching out to fetch the post by ID. Yeah, okay, that looks about right. Next, I want to create a post. Request body is post creation request, and that's actually going to be. Why did that go so big? I just wanted you to be request. Go away. Don't be so silly. There we go. So that's a way to create it. I'm gonna stick this guy up top. I don't know why, but I just create it. And then this is getting a list of all from a blog, getting a specific post. Yeah, this is what I'm missing. I knew I was missing something. There. Why do you... What do you mean blog ID is not consumed? So this is telling me that... Oh, because this is a request param, right. Oh my goodness. It's supposed to be a path variable. There we go. All right. So this is going to take in the blog ID and going to get me all of the posts for a blog. This one is going to specifically take in a post ID and get me a single post. This is going to create a post. And I know I am forgetting the pageable one, which was also just get. Okay. Just a straight up get with a page. Okay. So next we're going to need a get mapping, and this one is going to be close to that. There we go. You can do it. Did I not make a pageable? Oh, I did for the blog ID. Okay. And this is supposed to be blog ID. I also need. I'll make that a request param as well. There we go. There we go. Now, so that's going to get all of our things with a little paging for a specific blog. I think that's the same way I did it here. Nope, just get all blogs. Yeah, because didn't need that there, which I do need here. So this is also going to get a required true. Oh, sweet. Okay, that's default. All right. Okay, so that is the post and the blog. So next we just need comments, and then we can start digging into the HTML part, create it quickly so that we can see what everything looks like. So this is a comment creation. Request. That's a big ass name. All right, and this guy is what do we need in here? This needs a comment is coming from a user and it's going on a post, and it has content. Okay. So there's a private. I'm doing pretty good, default Joker. How you doing? Hope you're doing well today. This is going to be a UUID. Whoop. UUID of a user ID, post ID, and content. Yeah. Okay. So comments. We need ourselves a service. Service dot comment service. This could be service. This is whoop. Acquired args constructor. It's gonna have a repo. Okay, and then we want a public comment, create comment. This is going to be a comment creation request. Haha, you named it right finally. Alright, so when we're creating this, we're gonna have a var comment, and then we're gonna have a comment dot set author, right? I'm gonna need to grab the author. grab the post. Okay, so we're gonna var. Whoop. Okay, so I gotta pull a few things in here. I'm gonna need a user service, and I'm gonna need a post service. So let's go with the author is the user. Jeepers. I knew I was forgetting something. Annotation so I don't have to write boilerplate. Okay, so get the user ID. I grab the post. This is going to be author, post, content, and we are going to return a saved comment. That's how we're creating our comment. Alright, so next we are going to find comment by an ID. I think that's what I'm looking to do. So I want to create, I want to fetch all comments for a blog. Yeah, so public list, find all comments by post ID. Yeah, that's what I want. Comment, find all comments by post ID. Create that list of comments. There we go. So that's going to do that. Then we're going to come down here and we're going to make a public. Actually, we're doing the same thing but pageable. Okay. Oh, did I do that again? No, I got the right paging there. Oh, I did it wrong here. There we go. Okay. So I think that's all I want for comments. I want a way to create a comment, get all comments, buy a post, and then get paging comments. Okay, so that's all I really think I care about for my service. So now let's go into here and make a controller. Controller.post, not post. Comment controller, and this is comment API controller, because that's what I've been doing for everything else. And why did that come as an interface? I must have hit down. Alright, so we have this as a REST controller, not a repository. A REST controller. What? So there's a REST controller. This needs a yes. We also need required args. This is going to have comment service. Again, kind of, sort of. Yeah. Request mapping or request param but not pageable. Default value equals 0. This is page ID. Oh, right. No, it's an int. My bad. So at request param default 10 size. There we go. Pageable is that. Doing this. This is a list of comments. Yes. Yes. But you are technically a response entity. Come on now. Import. Um, comments equals this, and return OK comments. There. Okay. So that's going to get a list of comments for a post. I need a post mapping, which is going to be a response entity of comment. Okay, that looks about right. That looks right. Okay. Now I want to get a I got a get mapping here that I want to be that of I need to take a post ID, and this is going to be an individual comment. So here we're going to be grabbing all. Okay, there we go. That's grabbing all, so it's basically doing the same as this, but getting everything. Okay, and I should call that comments. Call that comments. Grabbing out, creating a comment, getting all the comments by a post, and getting all the comments by a post. Yeah, okay. And I think that's all I care about for the time being with the API controller. I believe I can fly. Alright, you now okay. So alright, that covers everything on my list here. So now I'm basically winging it. Alright, so once we got this done, that is all of that. We need the site controller for this, for login, for register. That's for these. We're going to need one for blogs. I believe that's what I called that. Yes, blogs. Okay. So this is going to be blog list. I'm calling this HTML file blog list because it is going to be the thing that's going to just present with a list of blogs. So we'll create a thing here called blog list, and this is blogs. Now we're gonna do some funny. We're gonna do some stuff in here. So here we're actually going to take in a model because we want to be able to put stuff in here. Now, normally, just for the record, I would do this in a different manner. I would make an actual controller for this. I wouldn't just bombard this the way that I'm going to, but I'm doing this for demonstration purposes. Don't do this as an actual thing. Okay, so for this, we're going to make a private final blog service because I want to come into here and say blogs, find all blogs, or fetch all blogs, but now I technically want this pageable request because we're on the home page of them. So I'm actually going to simply make a blog page in to say this is a pageable of size 10 dot with page 0 dot get content. Does it not get content? Is this return? Oh, this is yeah. No, I want page. So blog paging. So now we're only going to get a list of 10 blogs on this page. And then we're going to stick the blogs into our model so that our blog list can actually come in here. And here's where we can do some fun stuff. So for here, that was cool. We're going to say for each blog inside of blogs, we want to stick the title of blog title, and then context or for content. Yeah, we don't have any content for here, so this is just a blog title, and I'm actually going to stick not the content but actually the get author dot get username. So we'll stick the username beneath our blog. This is going to look real professional. This whole thing we're actually going to stick inside of a... Whoops. Did not go over the way I wanted. Alright, so I want to know... Yeah, cool. If it's empty, do this. Unless it's empty, this is where we're going to do some fun stuff. There. This is a div. I don't know why that's a P. This should technically be a div in itself. Okay. So if by chance the blogs are empty, we're going to say none. Otherwise, if the blogs are not empty, then we're going to go through each blog, stick the head, and the post. So it's going to make a big list. Big list of blogs. And since we don't actually have any in our database at the moment, this is going to come back yelling at us. Now, if I want to add a run configuration, this is Spring Boot. Alphabetical order, Mike, where is S? Oh my goodness. So, rerun this. You'll see it's on 8080. Click on this. We go here. Click on blogs. No blogs found. Ah, perfect. So that works. Now, the next thing we need to do is we're going to be adding a button if no blogs are found. Or sorry, not if no blogs are found. Above here, I believe, is where I want to add this. This is going to be we're just going to stick a to-do in here. This is going to be adding button to create a new blog. Okay, so this is going to be a button that's going to then pull up do I want to? I don't want to introduce JavaScript. So this is going to take to another page, which is just going to be a form to create a blog. No, that's so stupid. This is going to make a pop-up that's just going to ask you to give your blog a name, and then it's going to create it, and then when I make the first post is going to go to a page. Okay, post is going to go to a page. So since I don't have much more planned out from here, all right. So I may need to come back to this. So now that we got this here up and going, and we've got our page, we got a list of blogs that are coming in, which is technically empty because we don't actually have a blog right now. You know what? Where in the heck is my Spring Boot tools? Endpoints. Where are the endpoints at? There they are. We're going to take a look at this. So blogs, post. This is supposed to have a user ID. So let me just come in here, grab my user ID. What up, Prof? If you want to jump in on this, Prof, feel free. All right, so now that I got my UUID, I'm going to jump down to my endpoints. I'm going to say the ID is this, and the blog name is going to be the Midnight Blog. Hit a submit. Everything looks okay, all hunky-dory. Let's go back into here and hit up that blog, and we have no blogs found. Why we has no blogs found? Okay, so if I look at this, this went through, looks like oh. That failed me because I didn't log in. Okay. I love you, Crayon. Alright, so this didn't like it because of authentication. I'm not actually authorized to make a post there. So let's let's do a little hack, make this work. Um, so I'm going to go into my website security, and where I have up here for everything, I'm going to do the no-no, and we're going to say API / everything is going to be A-OK. So let me reboot this. Oh, Crayons is noob. Oh. You renamed your account. Alright, so I'm going to submit the same request again. And look at that. We have created a blog. So now if I pop into my browser, hit that blog, we have the Midnight Blog by Gladbeck. Alright, so that's how we get a list of blogs. My day is just about to start. My wife just woke up. So I am going to pause this out here as it is, and I'm actually going to plan out a little bit more. I will be in my Discord. While I'll stream while in my Discord while I do a little planning out. I am going to figure out the rest of what I want to do here as far as what the web pages are going to look like, because now I need to make it so that this blog list, for each of these blogs, I want technically this here to be snugged up into like a little card view, so I'm probably going to have to do some CSS. I want this to be like in a little like Discord embed message styled card, name on the top, or maybe author on the top, name of the blog on the bottom, with a button to open the blog page. Then I want to go to the blog page, get a list of available posts that the user made, again with kind of a snippet little deal. So basically, let me just show you what I'm trying to mimic. So if we go to my website, midnightcoder.dev, in here I have a blog page for people to come in and claim a blog. The idea here is I want to kind of mimic this a bit for this learning stream. So people can, again, come in and create a blog. My blog is not going to be looking like this. It's just going to simply say the user's name, maybe the created date with the count, and the name, make that a little bigger, and the name of the blog. And then I want this to be a view button where you can come into the person's blog and see a list of their posts. I don't have any. Does he? He seems to have one. So again, in here, he has one. Again, this is his blog title. This is his blog stuff, name, date. So I'm trying to kind of more or less mimic this bit in a simple, in our simple little localhost blog that we've got going on here. This is just going to continue to say this. I may or may not center it just to make it look pretty, but blogs, I'm going to do some work on this. This needs some love. So, well, if you've enjoyed this so far, hit that thumbs up for me. That'll make sure we get out to other users, other developers. If you want to join me in my Discord, link is in the description. I will be in the Discord while I work on this and make up my sort of my roadmap game plan. My coffee's almost empty anyway. So we will wrap this up now, and when I will, if I get things sorted, I'll live stream later on tonight or later today, depends on. However, if depends on how busy my day gets, I might not get around to it, but I'm hoping to get this sorted out and whatnot. So again, if you'd like to join me, Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you'll get notified. The other way to get notified is join my Discord. We have a community of developers in there and just friendly people. You can ask questions, introduce yourself, show off projects you do, and other fun stuff like that. Other places you can find me will be in the Together Java Discord. Shout out to them. Um, Another great, amazing Discord for those of you who are looking to learn Java. If you do join the Together Java group from this video, let them know that Glad I sent you. As always, keep your curiosity open, your skills sharp, and that coffee cup full.